So I'm excited to be able to introduce our fantastic guest speaker today. So Miss Reshonah Bennett is a visionary in finance and soulful wellness, the co-founder of BK Crypto, a financial counselor, and a financial soul healer. She blends expertise in financial counseling with a holistic approach to wealth. She's been featured in the Essence magazine as a notable African-American woman in crypto. She uses readings, numerology, and financial planning to guide people towards aligning their soul's purpose with financial prosperity. And her mantra, no surprise, of course, is true wealth combines financial success with spiritual harmony. So, Miss Reshonah Bennett, welcome to Disruptor DAO. And I give you
Thank you
the
so
floor.
much. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. We're in a beautiful, beautiful time, and I am so grateful. And if we could just go back to the first screen, because I actually want you guys to take a journey with me in history before we actually talk about what's happening in the present now. It's important that we transform our minds to understand how real this is. So as we talk about the catalyst for economic empowerment, financial inclusion, let's go back in history when these things were actually being fought, because we had historic disruptors as we celebrate Black History Month that have been disruptors in this space. So real brief, throughout history, people of color have been disruptors for social, economic equality and financial inclusion in various ways. Some notable moments, some might have been alive during those times, our parents and parents' parents. But let's think about the civil rights movement in 1950s and the 1960s. African Americans in the United States actively campaigned for equal rights, including economic opportunities. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. emphasized economic justice as part of a broader struggle for civil rights. Let's take it around the globe. How about Indian independence movement in 20th century? In India, leaders like Mahatma Gandhi advocated for economic self-sufficiency and social equality as part of the larger movement for independence. The focus was in empowering marginalized communities. And let's take it back to Africa. Anti-apartheid struggle in the 20th century in South Africa. The fight against apartheid included efforts to address economic disparities and ensure financial inclusion for the majority, who were often excluded based on racial lines. And last and not least, we'll go over is the Black Economic Empowerment, the BEE, in South Africa, 1990s, 2000s. After the end of apartheid, South Africa implemented the BEE policies to address historical economic imbalances. These policies aim to promote the economic participation of Black South Africans in various sectors. So that was the history back. And if you think about the disruptors, they might be actually happy because we actually might have a solution that actually creates financial inclusion for all. And so a little quick game before we start, it's called I believe or I know. So I'm going to make a statement. I want you to write in here, either you believe or you know. I believe technology evolves, or I know technology evolves. I believe as a human, I will evolve, or I know as a human, I will evolve. And last, do you believe you will get older, or do you know you will get older? Hold that, because at the end of this, I'm going to ask you the same question. So agenda tonight, go over some cryptocurrencies, decentralization, benefits, economic empowerment, real use cases. Come to a conclusion, and let's talk about some Q&A. Because we're going to think about, do we believe what I'm listening to, or will you know? What is blockchain? Something that has changed our life tremendously. A decentralized way to share, secure, store, and transact. What is the Bitcoin? Digital money that is not controlled by any government or bank. Cryptocurrencies. if you close your eyes for a second and thought about what I just said about the historic social, economic, and financial inclusions that appeared, then you can move forward in this space and think about what this can actually do for those who've been fighting for us in disrupting the spaces. Cryptocurrency is bringing empowerment, financial autonomy, inclusive accessibility, global accessibility. Decentralization is bringing borderless, meaning, before the overprinting of the dollars, you had the gold bars. And even recently, with those who try to travel with the gold bars, had to get stopped because they couldn't go through the airport. But with decentralized products and cryptocurrencies, it's borderless. Take your phone and you just go. No central authority. You basically your own boss. It's resilient. It bounces back. But even if you look at the images, it talks about the collectiveness, right? The unity, the community, the inclusivity. It's secure. Cryptography, consensus, mechanisms, immutable, and user control. Just think about that. For those who don't know, and you might know, but let's go over it again. What are cryptocurrencies? Cryptocurrencies is a digital or virtual currency that uses cryptography for security and operates on a decentralized network on blockchain technology. It's kind of like blockchain always says, like that train track. And on the train track, you have different trains. It could be the C, the A, the E, the B, the D. In the banking system, they have their own form of the ledger, but they double dip, right? And we're tired of the banking system double dipping where we don't trust anymore. So it is designed to work as a medium of exchanges, allowing users to make secure, direct transactions without the need for a central authority like a bank or government. There goes that word again, right? Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi. We think about the disruptors in our life that's been fighting. Malcolm X. We're in a time now, we can actually now see it happening for us with this technology. Economic inclusion. Cryptocurrency helps more people join the economy by providing access to financial services without needing a traditional bank. I'm a financial counselor by day, and through my email feed 2 days ago, I got that in New York City, over 305,000 people in the States are unbanked. Hold that for a second. In today's time, and this is in New York City, are unbanked. If there's over 6 billion people around the world, think about how many of them are actually also unbanked. And not because they don't want to, because systems have prevented them the access to. So economic inclusion, interconnection, community access, no barriers, and self-banking. Self-banking, your own boss. Again, we're hearing the same energy of financial freedoms, that it is borderless. There's no limits to where you can travel, where you can travel to, where you can enter, where you can exit. It's hedged against inflation, where we think of the money system now, when we think about where we are, they just basically are putting a Band-Aid to the situation that we are in again. Inflation, we're double dipping, we're overprinting on things that we don't have, but because of the energy of what money is creating extra debt that the population, that's the middle class and the poor class, is feeling. So we have to think differently, move differently. Wealth transfer, and again, no central authority, because the truth is the people should be owning the government, not the government owning the people. Next slide, please. Historical content. Just to understand where we are, and even just think about in 2008 when we're going through the fall of real estate, right? Where everyone was getting bailed out, AIG and Lehman Brothers, and then something was happening simultaneously. Maybe it was ironic, maybe it wasn't. However, the start of this cryptocurrency, they call Bitcoin, was started in 2009. It hedged against banking. Again, something always is evolving. But if your eyes on the prize, you realize what's happening. The first retail transaction in 2010. I don't know if you guys heard about that story where a guy had Bitcoin and he pretty much spent his Bitcoin on pizza. And today it probably would have been worth, God knows, maybe 2 point something million, or maybe even $1 billion. But that's how real things are transactional. Bitcoin's invention marked a significant evolution, introducing blockchain technology to create a decentralized and secure system for peer-to-peer between you and I having transactions. It's not now a third party, a fourth party, a sixth party. It's actually me calling Yogisha, me calling Eve and saying, hey, I want to create a transaction with you, or I'm away in Mexico. Can you send me something? Or I want to do a business transaction. I don't have to go through my bank or talk to my attorney. I can go through my smart chain contract and push and pay Eve or Yogisha because we came to an agreement on a business transaction. It's peer to peer, keeping it in the community. Introducing blockchain technology to create a decentralized and secure system for peer-to-peer transaction, challenging the traditional financial landscape. Now, we always know when there's some disruption, that means that things are really actually brewing up, and that means that something is actually happening. And the 1% don't like their money to get played with. Let's go to the next slide. Impact on local communities. When we think about being involved with policies, and we always say that the policies really start at the local level versus the top level in Albany. And so if we start creating these local economies between each other, you'll have more positive potential impacts for, again, financial inclusion, economic empowerment, and again, social justice. These are the times where, as we are commuting now on this Zoom, we can do the same thing globally now. Our global reach is now not limited. So I can do business not only on a local level, but also on an international level. And we can keep our money within our community and grow. Next slide, please. So I know most people in this space who are just trying to figure out the concept of, is Bitcoin money? Is it a store of value? Is it a use case? Can we really use it? Because when we think about the average frame of mind of an American, we have it really easy. Although systemically there are issues happening here, socioeconomic issues, but when you think about the capitalism and the access to credit and access to funding, you don't always think that you're going through something that's easy. But we do need change, because there is issues with our financial inclusions here in the States. There is issue with social economic justices. There is issue still with the amount that we're getting paid as a business, a corporation, of women of color, men of color. There is an issue with credit. There is an issue with getting funding for your business. So the real world activities and being used with Bitcoin and crypto is actually happening around the world. And I know if you were in the news, you heard about El Salvador. They took a big risk and they invested in cryptocurrency, and I think they paid over $1 million in their debt. If you're reading the screen right now and what happened in 2021, this is huge. The adoption of Bitcoin actually changed the lives of many and how they run their government, because they found a solution with being in their debt. Small businesses, owners in El Salvador can now accept Bitcoin as payments, enabling them to tap into a global market and conduct transactions without traditional banking intermediates. And how many of us have family that are in Nigeria, that are in Mexico, that are in Central America, that are in the Caribbean? This is life transformational for us at this time, because we're not limited even on the cross-border payments of the amount of money that we send to TransUnion, right? And the cost for that, or we know we might be doing a Zelle Pay, or we might do a Cash App, but this is how we've evolved. Next slide, please. Another use case I think is phenomenal, when we can really actually see things that are actually transactional and making a difference around the world. Venezuela has faced severe economic challenges, including hyperinflation, and cryptocurrencies, particularly Bitcoin, have provided a means for citizens to hedge against the devaluation of the national currency. Think about those who are from Ghana. I have a sister that just actually left the United States and now living in Ghana. And so there's access for that as well, right? Fishermen in Ghana, you can see that, and micro entrepreneurs in Nigeria. So this is opening up businesses. This is opening up access to spending on families. and having the day-to-day things that we require, which it should be food, right? Should be shelter, should be clothes, should be water. This should be having access for everyone. Next, please. So how do we actually incorporate this in our lives? How do we bring our community of communities, together to really make this stand of this change? Education and awareness. It is so important when we see transformational changes for us to educate ourselves, because it actually empowers us, right? We are abundant beings. And every time you hear or you see something transformational, it can be something that you can create for yourself, creating legacy. So it's to surround yourself with those who are doing what you actually inspire to do, or the change globally. So education around us, right? We must all work together. Find your communities. Find what feeds your heart and see what communities are doing the same. Support companies and organizations that are committed, such as Disruptor DAO, Journey to Wealth, BK Crypto, and so much more, because we actually are communities within communities working with each other. And when you think about SOW, sisters, oh my God, I'm sorry. She's Shawnee. She's just amazing, but she's doing a leadership programs as well. The collective is so important. And you can see how much more we're changing and improving not only our lives, but our families and the trajectory, because we're coming together, like-mindedness, like spirits, like souls. It's evolutionary. Donate to nonprofit organizations that are working to provide education and support to BIPAC people in tech. Just think about this. Imagine if we decided that we didn't want to put our money in the bank anymore, and we collectively created a DAO or something and said that the money that we had in the bank that we all decided we're going to put in, just say hypothetically $1,000 of Bitcoin each, and that pool, so that we can now grow that DAO and then start distributing for health purposes, right? For educational purposes, for basic necessities, for healing, for wellness. Imagine what we create within communities on the same mindset. Let's start advocating for policies that promote technology adoption and equity. We got to get it from the top. And let's use technology to evolve problems and create opportunities for ourselves and our communities. Just take that in. Before I end, I want to ask this question. As we talked about the cryptocurrency, to say blockchain as being a catalyst to social, economic, and financial inclusion. As we walked through and went through and took a journey back historically of those who were fighting before and talking about what we're talking about now. Do we believe cryptocurrency, blockchain can provide social, economic, and financial inclusion, or do we know? Hold that, sit with that, think about that, and let it move through you. I thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to a quick Q&A, and if you want to get in touch with BK Crypto, you can definitely get in touch. You can scan, and let's continue this journey. Thank you so, so much.
This was fantastic, and we need to hear more of you on this platform. So I want to open it up to see if there's any reflections, questions, thoughts, anything that moved anyone. I know for me, I was surprised when you talked about El Salvador and how much I knew there was a lot going on. But to hear that again was mind-blowing. We don't realize, we're here in the United States, but there's so much more going on, outside of the US, and we're not exactly, we got to catch up. So, but for folks, any questions, thoughts, if you could raise your hand, electronic hand, so we could call out on you. We have someone else. We have a couple of folks with their hands up. Andre, if you could unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm actually I have to say for me, this Wednesday Wellness series provides like a safe space for me to like talk and learn, a safe space to like hear other women of people of color who have been able to unpack their own view of beliefs of what, you know, what they can achieve as far as just wealth, right? And I think that too many of us are not comfortable in environments and spaces where we feel that we can just be honest and transparent about what we know and don't know. And so I value this space, and I thank you for just having this space available for us. And I'm excited to learn more.
Thank you. Terry.
Good evening, everyone. I just want us to challenge ourselves as it pertains to our mindset and about new things. Let's just think about it. The internet is still with us, but a lot of horrible things happen on the internet, but a lot of good things happen on the internet too. Mm-hmm. Cryptocurrency is the same way. We're always going to have people out here trying to do negative things, but we have to look at the use case and how things will benefit us. We have cell phones. People still sell people's cell phone numbers, but we still have them because the benefits outweigh the negativity. So with that, we have to go in and learn and understand what these new disruptive technologies are about. Because if we don't, we're going to be behind the 8 ball. And we're going to be trying to play catch up. And this is our chance to get out in front of it. So I'm challenging all of us, including myself, to be curious, go scared, go anywhere. The banks are having problems all the time, but we still put our money in there. Are we aware that the dollar is so bad that in some countries they will not take the US dollar? The dollar only has value because we believe it has value. It's nothing backing it. So I tell us, start to look, listen to the TV shows that you're watching. They're starting to talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, even in like your regular nighttime programs that you watch for entertainment. Listen to see how much this stuff is coming up. And I'm just challenging all of us. Let's get involved. Let's be ahead. Let's educate ourselves, because we're going to lose a lot of jobs. And the jobs we're going to lose, women and people of color are occupying those jobs. However, there's going to be a lot of new jobs created. So if we change our mindset and learn, it will be our time. And with that, I'm complete. Thank you.